In the bustling streets of New York City, the daily grind can often feel overwhelming. Whether it's the stress of a demanding job, the pressure of living in a fast-paced environment, or the constant barrage of social media notifications, it's easy to see how one might feel a surge of anger creeping in. Perhaps you've found yourself stuck in traffic, your plans derailed by a sudden downpour, or faced with a colleague's thoughtless remark. In these moments, anger can feel like a natural response, an instinctive reaction to the frustrations life throws our way. However, what if we viewed anger not as a given, but as a choice? What if we could harness the wisdom of Stoic philosophy to transform our relationship with this powerful emotion? At the heart of Stoicism lies the understanding that our thoughts and perceptions shape our emotional responses. As Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This principle invites us to reflect on our emotional experiences, particularly anger. Anger, while a common reaction to perceived injustices or frustrations, does not have to dominate our lives. Instead, we can learn to recognize it, understand its roots, and ultimately choose how to respond. This journey begins with self-awareness. Acknowledging when you feel anger rising is the first step towards mastering it. It's crucial to understand that feeling angry is not inherently wrong, it is a natural human emotion. However, how we choose to express or manage that anger is where the distinction lies. Stoicism teaches us that we have the power to control our reactions. By cultivating mindfulness, we can pause before responding, giving ourselves the space to choose a more constructive path. Moreover, the Stoics emphasized the importance of acceptance, accepting the things we cannot control while focusing our energy on what we can influence. In a world filled with unpredictability, this perspective can be liberating. Imagine facing a frustrating situation at work where a colleague takes credit for your idea. Instead of allowing anger to fester and lead to conflict, you might choose to calmly address the issue or let it go, recognizing that you cannot control others' actions, only your response to them. In this video, we will explore the destructive nature of anger, examining its effects on our mental clarity and relationships. We will delve into practical strategies for managing anger, drawing on ancient Stoic wisdom to provide contemporary solutions for modern challenges. By embodying the principles of Stoicism, self-control, acceptance, and emotional intelligence, we can transform our anger into a catalyst for personal growth rather than a barrier to happiness. As we navigate this journey together, remember that the goal is not to eliminate anger entirely, but to understand and manage it effectively. Anger, when harnessed properly, can serve as a signal that prompts us to reflect on our values and boundaries. It can motivate us to take action against injustices, but only when channeled wisely. By the end of this exploration, you will be equipped with insights and tools that not only help you manage anger, but also cultivate a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment in your daily life. 1. The destructive nature of anger. In our modern lives, anger often feels like a justified response to the frustrations we encounter daily. However, as we delve deeper into the implications of this powerful emotion, it becomes clear that anger is not merely a fleeting feeling, it can be a destructive force that undermines our well-being and relationships. To understand the true nature of anger, we must first recognize its traits, how it manifests, and the consequences it brings. Anger as a weed. Just as weeds can overrun a garden if left unchecked, anger can take root in our lives, choking out the positive emotions and thoughts that contribute to our happiness. When we allow anger to linger, it can grow and fester, leading to a vicious cycle of negativity. The initial spark of irritation can escalate into a full-blown rage if we do not address it promptly. This metaphor of anger as a weed serves as a reminder that we must actively tend to our emotional landscape, uprooting anger before it takes hold. Consider a scenario where you receive unexpected criticism from a superior at work. Initially, it might sting, provoking feelings of anger. However, if you dwell on this anger, replaying the moment in your mind, it can grow, leading to resentment. This resentment can cloud your judgment, affect your interactions with colleagues, and ultimately hinder your professional performance. The Stoic philosopher Seneca warned, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. Recognizing anger as a weed encourages us to cultivate healthier emotional responses and maintain our inner peace. The acid of anger. Anger can also be likened to acid, corrosive and harmful. It not only damages the relationships we cherish, but also erodes our own mental clarity and peace. When we act out of anger, we often make decisions that we later regret. This corrosive nature of anger can lead to outbursts that alienate those around us, creating rifts in our personal and professional lives. For instance, imagine a heated argument with a friend over a trivial matter. In the heat of the moment, harsh words are exchanged and feelings are hurt. What started as a simple disagreement can escalate into a significant fallout if anger is allowed to dictate the conversation. The Stoics understood that anger is like acid. It can damage the container it's kept in more than the thing it's poured on. This perspective underscores the importance of managing anger, not just for the sake of others, but also for our own well-being. The isolation of anger. Anger has an isolating effect. When we allow anger to dominate our feelings, we often distance ourselves from others, believing that our anger justifies our isolation. We may perceive ourselves as victims, feeling justified in our anger towards those who have wronged us. However, this mindset only reinforces the cycle of loneliness and resentment. Imagine walking through the streets of Los Angeles, frustrated by the chaos of traffic and the impatience of other drivers. Instead of finding common ground, you might feel anger rising and choose to isolate yourself within your vehicle, shutting out the world. This emotional isolation can lead to feelings of bitterness and despair, reinforcing the belief that you are alone in your struggles. The Stoics teach us that no one can hurt you unless you let them. By allowing anger to dictate our feelings, we give power to external circumstances and relinquish our control over our emotional state. Anger clouds judgment. One of the most significant consequences of anger is its ability to cloud our judgment. When we are angry, our ability to think clearly diminishes, and we may react impulsively rather than thoughtfully. This lack of clarity can lead to decisions that are driven by emotion rather than reason, often resulting in actions we later regret. Consider a situation where a colleague takes credit for your work. The initial feeling of anger may prompt you to confront them aggressively, but in that heated moment, you might fail to see the bigger picture. A measured approach, one that reflects on the implications and seeks resolution rather than confrontation, may lead to a more favorable outcome. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius advised, anger is like a storm that comes from the deepest parts of your consciousness. Recognizing that anger clouds our judgment gives us the opportunity to pause, reflect, and choose a more rational response. The burden of resentment. Holding on to anger and resentment is akin to carrying a heavy burden. It weighs us down emotionally and prevents us from moving forward. The energy spent on harboring anger could be redirected toward more constructive pursuits, personal growth, fostering relationships, or pursuing passions. Reflect on a time when you held a grudge against someone. The mental energy consumed by that resentment likely took a toll on your happiness and well-being. In contrast, when we choose to let go of anger and resentment, we free ourselves from this burden. As the Stoics teach, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. By allowing ourselves the time to process our emotions, we can release the weight of resentment and embrace a more peaceful state of mind. Anger is a teacher. While it may seem counterintuitive, anger can also serve as a teacher. It highlights our boundaries and values, prompting us to reflect on what truly matters to us. However, it is essential to approach this lesson with awareness and mindfulness. Instead of letting anger dictate our actions, we can use it as a catalyst for positive change. For example, if you find yourself angry about social injustices, that anger can motivate you to take action, volunteering, advocating for change, or educating others. The key is to channel that anger into productive avenues that align with your values and contribute to your growth. The Stoics remind us that what bothers us about other people can help us learn more about ourselves. By embracing this teaching, we can transform anger from a destructive force into a powerful motivator for personal development. Transforming anger. Understanding the destructive nature of anger equips us with the tools to manage it effectively. By recognizing anger as a weed that can choke out our happiness, an acid that corrodes our relationships, and a cloud that obscures our judgment, we can take proactive steps to address it. Embracing the Stoic principles of self-awareness, acceptance, and reflection can empower us to transform our relationship with anger. As we move forward, remember that anger is not inherently bad. Rather, it is how we choose to respond that makes all the difference. By cultivating mindfulness and emotional intelligence, we can learn to navigate our anger, using it as a teacher rather than a tyrant. Through this journey, we can foster deeper connections, enhance our personal growth, and ultimately cultivate a more peaceful existence. 2. Strategies for managing anger. In our fast-paced, often chaotic lives, anger can arise unexpectedly, threatening our peace of mind and the quality of our relationships. However, the good news is that we have the power to manage and channel our anger constructively. By employing various strategies informed by Stoic philosophy, we can transform our responses to anger, fostering emotional resilience and clarity. This section will explore practical techniques for managing anger effectively, enabling us to cultivate a more peaceful existence. Mindfulness and self-awareness. The first step in managing anger is cultivating mindfulness and self-awareness. This involves recognizing our emotional triggers and understanding the physiological responses that accompany anger. When we become aware of the sensations in our bodies, such as increased heart rate, clenched fists, or shallow breathing, we can pause and take a step back. This moment of reflection allows us to choose our response rather than react impulsively. For instance, imagine you find yourself in a heated discussion with a friend about a sensitive topic. Instead of letting anger take over, you can take a deep breath, acknowledge your emotions, and assess the situation calmly. Practicing mindfulness helps create a buffer between the stimulus and our reaction, giving us the opportunity to respond thoughtfully. Epictetus emphasizes the importance of self-awareness when he states, "It's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them." By reframing our thoughts and recognizing that we have control over our interpretations, we can significantly reduce our anger and frustration. Delayed response. Another effective strategy for managing anger is the practice of delaying our responses. When faced with a frustrating situation, it's easy to react immediately, often leading to regrettable outcomes. By taking a moment to pause, whether it's counting to 10, stepping away from the situation, or even writing down your thoughts, we allow ourselves the time to process our emotions and respond in a more composed manner. Consider a scenario in which a coworker undermines your contributions in a meeting. Your initial reaction may be anger, prompting a defensive response. Instead of reacting immediately, you can choose to take a break and collect your thoughts. This delay can provide you with the clarity needed to address the situation constructively rather than escalating it further. Marcus Aurelius advises us to consider the consequences of our actions. When you are upset, remember that you are not just a human being, you are part of a larger community. By acknowledging the impact of our responses on others, we can choose to engage in dialogue rather than conflict. Reframing thoughts. Reframing our thoughts is another powerful strategy for managing anger. Often, our anger stems from our interpretations of events rather than the events themselves. By consciously shifting our perspective, we can transform our emotional responses and reduce feelings of frustration. For example, if you feel angry because a friend cancels plans at the last minute, try to reframe the situation. Instead of viewing it as a personal slight, consider that your friend may be dealing with unforeseen circumstances. This shift in perspective allows you to respond with empathy rather than irritation, fostering understanding and connection. The Stoics believed in the power of rational thought and the ability to control our interpretations. Seneca noted, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." By reframing our thoughts, we can mitigate the intensity of our anger and choose a more balanced response. Practicing forgiveness. Forgiveness is a vital component of managing anger. Holding on to grudges and resentment only perpetuates our anger and hinders our emotional growth. By practicing forgiveness, we release the grip that anger has on us, allowing ourselves to move forward with greater peace. Forgiveness does not mean condoning the actions of others. Rather, it is an act of self-liberation. By letting go of anger towards someone who has wronged us, we reclaim our emotional power and create space for healing. This process can be challenging, but it is essential for our well-being. Imagine a situation where a family member has hurt you deeply with their words. Instead of allowing that hurt to fester into anger, you can choose to forgive them, recognizing that they, too, are human and flawed. This act of forgiveness allows you to break the cycle of resentment and embrace a more positive emotional state. Engaging in constructive dialogue. When anger arises in interpersonal relationships, engaging in constructive dialogue can be a powerful tool for resolution. Instead of allowing anger to dictate our actions, we can approach others with the intention of understanding and finding common ground. For instance, if you are feeling angry about a colleague's behavior, consider initiating a calm conversation with them. Expressing your feelings and concerns in a respectful manner can help clarify misunderstandings and pave the way for resolution. This approach not only diffuses tension but also fosters deeper connections and mutual respect. Epictetus reminds us we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. By actively listening to others, we demonstrate empathy and create an environment conducive to open communication, allowing anger to dissipate. Channeling anger into positive action. Rather than suppressing anger or allowing it to control us, we can channel this energy into positive action. Anger can serve as a powerful motivator when directed towards constructive pursuits. By identifying the root causes of our anger, we can take proactive steps to address the underlying issues. For example, if you feel angry about social injustices, consider getting involved in advocacy work or community service. This channeling of anger into meaningful action not only helps alleviate feelings of frustration but also contributes to positive change in the world around us. The Stoics believe that we can transform adversity into opportunity. Marcus Aurelius stated, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." By reframing anger as a catalyst for positive change, we can empower ourselves and others. Creating a supportive environment. Lastly, creating a supportive environment can significantly impact our ability to manage anger. Surrounding ourselves with individuals who promote positivity and understanding can help us navigate challenging emotions more effectively. Engage in relationships that uplift and inspire you, fostering an atmosphere of encouragement and growth. Consider forming a support group with friends or colleagues where you can share your experiences and strategies for managing anger. This sense of community can provide invaluable resources and perspectives, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. As we adopt these strategies for managing anger, it's essential to remember that this is an ongoing journey. Like any skill, managing anger requires practice and dedication. By incorporating mindfulness, reframing thoughts, practicing forgiveness, engaging in constructive dialogue, channeling anger into positive action, and creating a supportive environment, we can cultivate emotional resilience and foster a more peaceful existence. In conclusion, managing anger is not about suppressing it. Rather, it is about understanding, channeling, and responding to it in a constructive manner. By applying these Stoic principles, we can transform our relationship with anger, turning it from a destructive force into a catalyst for personal growth and positive change. 3. Philosophical insights on life's challenges. Life presents us with a myriad of challenges, often accompanied by frustration and anger. However, through the lens of Stoic philosophy, we can gain profound insights into navigating these difficulties with grace and resilience. By understanding the nature of challenges and how to respond to them, we can cultivate a more fulfilling existence, even amid adversity. The nature of life as a challenge. Stoicism teaches that life is inherently filled with challenges. From the moment we are born, we encounter obstacles that test our patience, resolve, and character. Recognizing this fundamental truth allows us to shift our perspective on difficulties. Instead of viewing challenges as burdens, we can see them as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This quote encapsulates the essence of Stoic thought. Rather than resisting challenges, we can embrace them, understanding that they offer valuable lessons and the potential for personal development. For instance, if you face a setback at work, perhaps a project that doesn't go as planned, this can be an opportunity to learn, adapt, and ultimately improve your skills. The role of perception in challenges. One of the core tenets of Stoicism is that our perception shapes our emotional responses. The Stoics believed that it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but rather our judgments about those events. This understanding empowers us to take control of our reactions and embrace a more constructive outlook. Consider a situation where a loved one cancels plans at the last minute. The initial reaction might be disappointment or anger. However, by reframing the situation, recognizing that unforeseen circumstances can affect anyone, you allow yourself to respond with understanding rather than frustration. Epictetus famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This perspective encourages us to cultivate emotional resilience, enabling us to navigate life's challenges with equanimity, accepting what we cannot control. A central theme in Stoic philosophy is the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. Many of the frustrations we face stem from our desire to control external circumstances, which are often beyond our influence. By accepting this reality, we can free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. For example, if you find yourself stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting, it's easy to become frustrated. However, recognizing that you cannot control the traffic allows you to redirect your energy. Instead of dwelling on the situation, you can use this time to listen to a podcast, practice deep breathing, or reflect on your goals. As Epictetus advised, don't seek to have events happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do, and you will go on well. This acceptance does not imply passivity. Rather, it encourages proactive engagement with life's challenges. By focusing on our responses and actions, we maintain our power even in the face of adversity. Embracing change and impermanence. Another essential aspect of Stoic thought is the recognition of change and impermanence. Life is in a constant state of flux, and understanding this can help us navigate challenges with greater ease. The Stoics believed that nothing is permanent, and by embracing the transient nature of existence, we can cultivate a sense of peace. Consider the changing seasons. Each season brings its own challenges and beauty. Winter may be harsh and cold, but it gives way to the renewal of spring. Similarly, life's challenges can lead to personal growth and transformation. As Heraclitus noted, change is the only constant in life. By accepting change, we can adapt to new circumstances and find strength in our ability to evolve. The power of resilience. Resilience is a key theme in Stoic philosophy, highlighting our capacity to withstand adversity. The Stoics believed that true strength lies not in avoiding challenges, but in facing them with courage and determination. By cultivating resilience, we equip ourselves to navigate life's ups and downs with grace. One practical way to foster resilience is through reflective practice. After facing a challenge, take the time to reflect on the experience. What did you learn? How did you grow? This reflection not only enhances self-awareness, but also reinforces your ability to adapt to future challenges. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By taking ownership of our thoughts and responses, we empower ourselves to rise above adversity. Learning from adversity. Adversity can be a powerful teacher. The Stoics believed that challenges provide invaluable lessons that contribute to our personal growth. When faced with difficulties, we can choose to view them as opportunities for learning rather than obstacles to our happiness. For example, if you experience a professional setback, instead of succumbing to frustration, consider it a chance to evaluate your approach and improve your skills. What could you have done differently? What insights can you gain from this experience? As Seneca wisely stated, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Embracing adversity as a teacher enables us to cultivate a growth mindset, fostering resilience and adaptability. The importance of community support. Stoicism also emphasizes the significance of community and relationships in navigating challenges. We are social beings, and having a support system can greatly enhance our ability to cope with adversity. Surrounding ourselves with individuals who share our values and encourage our growth creates an environment that fosters resilience. Engaging with a supportive community can provide valuable perspectives during difficult times. Whether through friendships, family, or professional networks, having people to lean on can help us process our emotions and gain insights into our challenges. As Marcus Aurelius noted, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil." Recognizing that we are all navigating our struggles can foster empathy and understanding, reinforcing our connections with others. Practicing gratitude amid challenges. Amid life's challenges, cultivating gratitude can significantly shift our perspective. The Stoics believed in the power of gratitude as a means of enhancing our well-being and resilience. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we can find strength even in difficult circumstances. When facing challenges, take a moment to reflect on the positive aspects of your life. What are you thankful for? What strengths do you possess that enable you to face adversity? Practicing gratitude helps us reframe our experiences, allowing us to approach challenges with a more positive mindset. As Marcus Aurelius advised, when you arise in the morning, think of the privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. The journey of self-discovery. Ultimately, navigating life's challenges is a journey of self-discovery. Each obstacle we encounter invites us to reflect on our values, beliefs, and aspirations. By embracing this journey, we can cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. The Stoics believed that our character is forged in the crucible of adversity. As we confront challenges, we have the opportunity to strengthen our virtues: courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance. This process of self-discovery enriches our lives, enabling us to live authentically and align our actions with our values.